Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing a special vinyl update video showing some of the records that I picked up at this year's record store day. So yeah, I thought I would kind of save these for like a kind of separate video so I could kind of talk about the day and these records in a bit more detail. So yeah, for me record store day this year was a little bit different from the usual fare because I was actually in Manchester for it. Normally I would go to a store in Edinburgh where I live, but I was actually down that way visiting my grandparents. So it just so happened to be in the area, so wasn't left without much choice to sort of go into Manchester for it, which was actually a really good experience I have to say, because the kind of stores in Manchester that are sort of participating are all very close to one another. Essentially they're all on near enough the same street pretty much, Oldham Street. So I kind of had a bit of a choice as to what shops I went to. So in the end I decided to go to Piccadilly Records, which is probably the most famous shop in Manchester, record shop in Manchester, and it was really well organised. Again, certainly from their social media posts leading up to Record Store Day, I felt that Piccadilly had the most stock from what I could see, and was just the safest bet out of the other shops that were participating, which was Vinyl Exchange, which was across the road, and then another one called Vinyl Revival, which was just around the corner from it. So yeah, I must have got to Piccadilly about 5 a.m. For an 8 a.m. opening, so it was a bit of a long wait, but passes by fairly quickly. You get chatting to folk in the queue, and also you had the important matter of deciding what you wanted. So at Piccadilly Records, essentially you had to highlight on the sheet of everything they had the things you wanted, and basically once you got in the shop you handed this over and then they went and got it for you. So I suppose it maybe took the fun out of it maybe a little bit, possibly, because I'm used to on Record Store Day going and then looking through the stuff yourself, picking out the things the things you want yourself. But yeah, I thought this was a really good system for the shop itself, and the number of people they had queuing as well. I said, I got there about 5 a.m. and there must have been about at least 60-70 folk in front of me, but I was still really fortunate. I managed to get everything I wanted on my list, which was essentially, I think I had probably two things that I was kind of desperate for, going into it, and then a kind of reserve list of other kind of nice to have sort of things. So we ended up ticking 6 things on the list, and as I said, was lucky enough to get all 6 things. So I'll just go through those 6 things now. So the first one, the main one on my list, top of my list, was the Sam Fender Me and the Dog EP here. So this is essentially just a kind of some bonus tracks, I guess, from his latest album, People Watching. So you get 2 songs which have already been released, Me and the Dog and Tyrants, although for me this is the first time I've got both of those songs on vinyl, so that's really nice. And then 2 new songs called Empty Spaces and I'm Always on the Stage, as well as the album version and a live version of People Watching itself. This is, this was dime a dozen on Record Store Day. I'm really not sure how limited this was, but certainly Piccadilly had loads of copies, and many of the other shops that I seen their social media on seem to have a lot of copies of this. So I think if you were after this on the day, and even if you rocked up at 8 p.m. that evening, you probably would have managed to get a copy of this. It's just on a standard black vinyl here, so it's nothing special, but it's got a nice inner sleeve with Sam featured on the inner sleeve there. So yeah, that was the main one that I was after. The other one I was quite keen to get my hands on was this, which is the reissue of the Replacements album, Tim here. So this album is originally from 1985. Replacements kind of US of alternative rock band, I guess. Yeah, this album has really like eluded me for like about like the last year. Like even like reissues, like other reissues of it have been very expensive. Original copies, never ever seen it. So, you know, when this was on like the list, I thought, yeah, you know what, like I'm gonna get it. It was a little bit pricey though. It was £50 for this, which is, I mean, a fair bit of money for what is basically just like a double vinyl reissue of it, but all you really get on it is 2 different mixes of the album. I think you get like a Ed Station mix, who must be a kind of famous producer, like, so he's kind of done like a remix of the album, and then you get like the original mix like off it as well. You know, like I've not kind of compared like these mixes at all, so I don't really know like what the difference is, like what ones like I like prefer. But this is a nice reissue like off it though. It's just in paper, like paper sleeves, but they're both on, I think they're both on the same colour, yeah, they're both on a kind of sort of purple vinyl here, which is quite nice. But yeah, like I said, it is a record which I've been looking for like a little while now. It's got probably my favourite replacement song on it, Swinging Party, probably like the most popular track, but some other great tracks like on here like as well. And like, as I said, was just desperate to get like a copy of this like in one format like or another. So yeah, quite glad to get the Record Store Day reissue of Tim by The Replacements. So basically everything else on my list was a kind of not quite like an impulse buy, but certainly was on a kind of long list of things that I guess if I was browsing the racks, I probably would have picked up like one way like or another. So yeah, like I'll just go through those now. So I got this, which is the reissue of Blur's The Magic Whip album. This is on a Zoetrope vinyl, and this is the first copy I have of this album. You know, like I don't have a copy like off the Magic Whip like aside from this. So again, this was one that I thought, yeah, you know what, let's just get this. It's the same price as like the standard like sort of like issue like of the album would be. I suppose with these Zoetrope vinyls, you do miss some of the artwork. Like as I said, it's a kind of like a die cut sort of cover there. It's got a bit of like an obi strip with it, which is quite nice. But like I said, the vinyl itself just has this on one side, which is the cover, and then this is the kind of Zoetrope vinyl on the other side, which looks really cool, like going around like your record player there. So yeah, this was their 2015 album here. As I said, it's not one that I already had, so it was a kind of one that was, yeah, like I might as well get this Record Store Day reissue, get like the kind of like the collective like exclusive version of The Magic Whip. Another one which was a bit of like an impulse buy was this, which is the Jesus and Mary chain here. So this is a singles collection, which is sort of covers 1984 and 1985, some of their early singles here. Now I'm not a major fan of the Jesus and Mary chain. I've probably come to realise, you know, I love their album Darklands, but everything else I kind of struggle with like a little bit. But you know, this is a kind of collection of their early, like their very early singles here, so I thought this would be like a good release. A lot of these songs probably very difficult to get like they're like original copies of. Again, it's just in a standard black sleeve, but this is quite a pretty vinyl. It's on a nice sort of red and black splatter vinyl there, which is really nice, and you get a lot of tracks on it. You get what's that, 6 songs on that side, 7 on this side, so it's like 13 tracks on here just of early singles, and I think all of their B-sides as well here. So no, yeah, this was yeah, like a very worthy Record Store Day release. Not another one which was kind of on my sort of like reserve list like for like Record Store Day, but one that I am again, you know, like in hindsight quite glad that I picked up in the end was the Johnny Marr live album. This one is called Lookout Live here, and yeah, like, I mean, like I've already got 2 other Johnny Marr live albums, so it's hardly like I need like a third one here. But this one is like rather good. It's taken from his most recent tour, so you get tracks on here from his most recent album, which was called Fever Dreams, which came out a couple of years ago. And I'm not sure if this was exclusive with Piccadilly Records, because I know he popped in to get like an award recently from there, but this came with a nice signed insert here, which is really nice. But this is the actual vinyl off it here, so you get the insert and then you also get the record here. Which is, yeah, like I said, like it's like a double live album here, with a lot of great tracks, essentially taken from a recent show. I think in London you get like as I said, like tracks from his latest album, a couple of Smiths tracks on here like Panic and Please Please Let Me Get What I Want, and then you also get a guest spot on side 4 from Neil Tennant of the Pet Shop Boys, but also of course of Electronic, who like Johnny Marr was a member of. So they do they do Getting Away With It and a version of Rebel Rebel as well. So yeah, this is like a nice reissue of like a nice live album here. Nice artwork on it. I think all the inner sleeves were printed from what I can remember. Yeah, so you get nice photos of Johnny and the band there. This is just on an orange vinyl here. I think both discs were the same in terms of the vinyl, but the inner sleeve slightly different. What's you got on here? You got again another great picture like of Johnny there, and then just credits there on the other side, and again just on that same orange vinyl. So I've not listened to this, don't know what the sound quality is like, but if it's anything like my other Johnny Marr live albums, I'm probably in for like a really good time with this album. Okay, and then the last thing I purchased on Record Store Day was probably the daddy of sort of like impulse sort of buys, but again I'm very glad that I ended up picking this up, which is the Oasis and Time Flies reissue here. So again probably going into Record Store Day, this wasn't really high on my list, but it was one of these, the originals of this go for absolutely silly money, and I've not actually got this is really the only Oasis comprehensive hits collection you can get, really, because this basically has every single they released during their career on here. So this was a bit expensive. It was £90 this, but so it's a 4 LP set. I got a pretty high number on here, 14,000. So I'm not sure. Maybe there's like 20,000 copies pressed, possibly maybe 15,000. If so, I got a very high number there. But anyway, this is a really 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 nice reissue of this box set, which like I said, came out on vinyl when this was released back in 2007, but. This is slightly different because they actually pressed this on 4 LPs rather than 5, and I'm quite glad about that, because the original one is about two songs per side, and it must be so frustrating to listen to that. This one, it's still got maybe about 4 songs per side, but it's slightly less frustrating than the original to listen to. But it's just got this on the inside here, nothing much artwork wise, but I really really like the way that they've done this. So it's all on coloured vinyl. This there's this little sticker what was on the front, just says what you get with the album here. And each vinyl on here is in a different colour. So you've got this first one here, this is disc 1, starts Supersonic, Roll With It, Live Forever, just so many great songs on here. And if you're in the mood for Oasis but really just their singles, and this really is the place to go. So this is on a nice kind of orange peachy vinyl there, which is nice, that one. Second disc is on a green vinyl, although it's maybe more of a kind of teal-y sort of colour here, but still very 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 nicely done though. Again, tracks on here the Hindu Times, Lord Don't Slow Me Down is actually I'm not sure if it's unique to this compilation, but this might be one of the only places like you can get that track on vinyl, so that's quite nice to get. And then other great tracks on there as well. Some might say Importance of Being Idle there, really nice stuff. Disc 3 here, again, a lot of great tracks on here. Do You Know What I Mean, Lila, Go Let It Out, a lot of it's really good, this, because it does cover that kind of that later period of Oasis, so it's really kind of the highlights from throughout their whole career. So this one is on a lovely pink vinyl, and then the last one here is it's in a blue inner sleeve, and you guessed it, it's on a blue vinyl. So now this is a really nicely done reissue of this album here. Very glad to have picked this up in hindsight. And I think with the shops and that for this, it was very kind of variable with kind of what shops had this in stock sort of thing, because I know my friend Ollie who's got a YouTube channel, which I will link in the description, he really struggled to get this. He went to Newcastle and really had a hard time getting this. But I was actually lucky enough to end up, like I said to him, like we were chatting like throughout the day, and I was like, right, I can queue up at another store, like and like try and get you like a copy. So like I was very lucky to get. I think I went over to Vinyl Revival and got him their second to last copy they had left of it. So you know, some shops are still selling this off now, you know, so it was very variable, like with like what stores got like how much in. But I was very glad to get this one here, like Oasis. Time flies here. So yeah, that's me done for this Record Store Day update here. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed. I hope everyone did have a good Record Store Day. And yep, I'll see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.